Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in. In previous videos and studies I've been doing that I've been sharing, we've learned that after the redemption, God's redeemed people are going to be making new laws. And that's the focus of this video because we actually have deeper revelation and more insight specifically into what God will be commanding his saints to do in making these laws. So I've been reading this new book that I have. Unfortunately, I can't make PDFs for you. If you're interested in this, if you're interested in truth and, or God's end time truth for the kingdom, I suggest just spending the $20 and getting this book. I've only been reading one text so far. I'm not even finished reading it, but, for this text alone, it's worth the $20 if you're interested in truth. So this is the text I've been reading, and it's controversial. It's going to stumble people, but when you read it, it is coming out of the inspired word of God. I tell you, this sealed book, this sealed roll, contains theology that you would spend, the most seasoned Christian under years of tribulation and years of study. This text spells out doctrine plainly that a seasoned Christian would only begin to understand. So these words are coming out of the mouth of God indefinitely. And it does contain controversial things. I'm not done with the text, so the things that I want to learn, I haven't finished reading, so I'm not going to get into it. But this text is referring to a sect that came out from the 1700s in upstate New York. It's about a 3-hour drive from New York City. And an angel revealed himself to a woman named Anne Lee. And this woman, when you do the Google search on this woman, Anne Lee, from the 1700s, the sect called the Shakers, it's very easy when you look at this stuff. Oh, this is just a cult, like all that kind of stuff. We know the prophecies. Angels will appear to the children of men and bring up false religions and false doctrines, false civilizations. And that has happened. And that was my speculation when I first started reading this text. But you have to read the text. You can't just go on your assumptions. The proof is in the pudding. When I was reading this text, my jaw was dropped. I'm like, this stuff is the real inspired word of God, and it contains doctrine that the most experienced and seasoned Christians would only begin to understand. It contains amazing information about the fall, Adam and Eve, that only God would know. So this is real. And it proclaims some controversial stuff that this woman, Anne Lee, who had, she grew up, we don't know much about her background, but probably had some sexual abuse or something like that. But she grew up despising the sexual ways of the world and had a very hard time in life. If I can, add the Wikipedia page, I'll link it below. But when you start reading and putting the pieces together, yeah, it makes sense. God is going to use this woman as an end-time saint after the resurrection. But the claim goes even farther than that. It says that this woman will be the female personification of the second coming of Christ. Okay, how many are offended by that? How many are saying you're nuts? This is false? That's what I thought. But I think it contains doctrine that we don't necessarily understand. Again, I'm not done reading the text, so I don't know. But I know this text is real. It's the inspired word of God. It is. And you have to read it. So that's where we're at. So that's the background of this text, coming from a sect in upstate New York in a town called New Lebanon. Okay? So amazing. You have to buy the book. So in chapter 15, in previous studies, we've learned that after the redemption, God's saints who are redeemed in their glorified light bodies in their redeemed state are going to be making new laws for the land. Okay? So this chapter actually gets into that more specifically. And here it is on your screen. You could screenshot it. I'm not going to spend the time reading it for time's sake, but the first paragraph on your screen says that God is going to command his people to make new laws specifically about sexual morality. And it makes sense because, you know, the tactics of Satan are to brainwash the masses into sin. And the biggest gateway into sin is sexuality. And, you know, so in this paragraph, God commands, you know, when we have the grace to make these new laws, don't hesitate, do this. I suggest reading it. It's quite profound. It's very convicting. And so I'm assuming this will be an attack on advertising and the media, because that's where sexual immorality creeps into the hearts of the children of men. Movies, advertisements, just advertisements for movies. You know, we see, and in this day and age, everything is so immoral and dark. You know, you can't even hide from it. I mean, it's insane. I mean, I stopped watching Netflix about 5 years ago because I just, you know, the pedophilia, everything that they just promote, pedophilia, they promote everything, and it's just horrible. But yeah, so we have more insight into these laws that God is going to command his saints to make, and to make them in haste. Do not hesitate making them. So I want to share this revelation, screenshot this, read this on your own. But most definitely, I mean, you know, I don't know what else is in this book, but this text alone is worth reading for anyone that's interested in truth. It's worth the $18. So, okay, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you.